In this tutorial, we are going to talk about how to find the exact value of a certain trig. So I have a question which is saying, find the exact value of each of the following, but A cos 224 degrees. Now, the most important thing that you have to understand is the reference angle. So what is basically a reference angle? So a reference angle is the angle between the x-axis and the point of interest. What do I mean? So if I have got my xy plane like that, so if I have a line like this even here, so I'll just do it like this. Now a reference point, we are saying, is a point between the x-axis and the point of interest. So this is x-axis, this is also negative x-axis, this side. So between this line to the point of interest, that is the reference angle. This is the reference angle, that's the reference angle, that's the reference angle. So these are the only reference angle that we have to be familiar with. Okay, so if you know the reference angle, it's going to be very much easy for you. But whenever you are trying to find the exact value, you need to know the special angles. Now I have got this chart which is very simple and is going to help you to remember the trig. Now this is very simple. So I have just come up with this table, and in the previous video I explained how I got this table. Okay, so it will be okay if at all you can know this one. Okay, so this is the one that I'm going to be using for special angles. Now if I go back here, the first question is cos 240. Without using a calculator, it's going to be a bit difficult for me just to start dreaming what cos 240 is. And then what I'm going to do is, where can I find 240? I can find 240 in the third quadrant. Now I have to find the reference angle of 240. Okay, another thing that you have to take note is you should know where cos is positive. So we say O student take chamber. So sine, cos, tan, they are all positive in the first quadrant. In the second quadrant, only sine is positive, the rest are negative. In the third quadrant, only tan is positive, the rest are negative. In the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive, the rest are negative. Now let's go there. 240 is in the third quadrant. Now 240 is in the third quadrant, meaning that from this point all the way to that point, it is 240. But my goal is to find the reference angle. The reference angle is the angle that is found between the point of interest, this is the point of interest, and the x-axis. So for me to find this angle here, I have to say 240 minus 180. Okay, so 240 minus 180, that's going to give me what? 60. So 60 degrees. Now I'm trying to find what cos 60 degrees is. But the answer that I'm going to find here, we should take note to say it is in the third quadrant. Cos is negative in the third quadrant. So then I'll go back here and look at my chart. So cos 60 is 1 over 2. But because it's going to be negative, so then I'll come here and say the answer is going to be negative 1 over 2. The negative comes in because 240 is in the third quadrant. So that's the answer for that question. You know, it becomes so interesting and very easy and very simple at the same time. Let's go to part B. Okay, so part B, we are looking at tan, but 120. Where can we find 120? So 120 can be found, it is in the second quadrant. Now I need to find the reference angle. Okay, so that is 120. Now to find the reference angle, remember the reference angle is the angle between the x-axis and the point of interest, meaning this is the reference angle that I want to find. So basically if you do here, if you do 240 cos 240 and cos 60. If you use a calculator finding 240, you will be able to find the same -1/2, which is going to be -0.5. So you can use a calculator and prove that. But here now we're not using a calculator, but we're trying to find the exact value. Okay, so then for me to find this reference angle is going to be 180 minus 120, which gives me 60 as well. So now I'm finding tan 60. So tan 120 is the same as you are finding tan 60. But let's see, in the second quadrant, is tan positive or negative? It's negative. So I'll go back to my chart and I look at tan 60, which is root 3. But this root 3, because it is in the second quadrant, then it's going to be negative. Okay, so it will be negative root 3. And if you use a calculator, you still get the same one. So if you punch tan 120 and tan 60, you are going to get the same answer. Okay, now we go to part C. It's basically the same concept. Okay, 300. So 300 is in the fourth quadrant. It's here. From there all the way to that point, that is 300. Meaning that the reference angle from this line to there, that is going to be 60 degrees. Now we are finding sine 60. But we should take note that sine is negative in the fourth quadrant. Going back to my table, sine 60 is root 3/2. But this is going to give me negative. That's the answer. Go ahead and do part D. So part D, we are looking at 210. So where can we find 210? Still 210 is in the first quadrant. Sorry, in the third quadrant. So 210 is there. So it will be 210 minus 180 to find the reference angle. Okay, so what is 210 minus 180? That is 30 degrees. So now we are trying to find cos 30 degrees, but cos is negative in the third quadrant, so it's going to be negative. So if we look at, we go back, what is cos 30? That is root 3/2. So root 3/2. But because cos is negative in the in that quadrant, we should not forget to include the negative. Okay, so that's give me negative. So that becomes my final answer. Okay, so where else are we supposed to go? We are now going to part we are now going to part what? Part D. We are now going to part E. Okay, so part E, it is now in rad. So the best thing that we have to understand and know is to convert from rad to, we come from rad to degrees. So we should take note that in 2 pi there is 360 degrees. So then I can divide both sides by 2, both sides by 2, these will cancel, meaning in pi there is 180 degrees. So this is the conversion that we're going to be using. Okay, so let's begin with part E. So part E, the way it is 7 pi over 6. So I'm going to set the unit in such a way that they should cancel each other. So I'll put pi here. In one pi there is 108 degrees. So pi and pi will go. Then we are going to say 6 here, 1, 6 into 18, 3. Okay, 3. So then it will be 30. So now what we are actually doing is 30 times 7. So we just say this is going to give me 210. Okay, it's going to give me 210. is going to give me 210. So then what we're trying to find is sine 210. But remember, 210, it is in the third quadrant. It's the same thing that we're doing there. It is in the third quadrant and it's going to be 30. That's what we said. So now we are finding sine 30. So we look at, we are now finding sine 30. The same method, we are finding sine 30 degrees. So it is in the third quadrant. Sine is negative in the third quadrant. So what do? We are going to include negative. So using the table, we already know what sine 30 is. It's half. So it's negative 1 over 2. Simple, right? Try to pause the video, solve part F, and compare with the answer that I'm going to find. Okay. So there we go. Let's try part F. Like I said, you can pause the video, try to solve, and then compare with the answer that I'm going to find. So part F is tan 5. So now let's first convert 5 pi divided by 3. So set the unit in such a way they should cancel each other. So pi and pi will go. 3 there, 1. 3 here, 60. So we have 60 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. So this becomes 300. Not so. This becomes 300. But remember, this now we are finding tan 300. 300, we already found that it was 60 as well. So it is in the fourth quadrant. So this is not going to change. So now we are trying to find tan 300. But remember what we did on part C. 300 is the same as we are finding tan 60 degrees. So now, what is tan 60? Go back. Tan 60 is root 3. So root 3. Now we look at this. Is tan positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? Only cos is positive. Then I have to include negative. So that becomes my answer. Simple, right? Let's go to part G. So part G, 4 pi divided by 3 times 180 divided by pi. Pi and pi will go. 3 there, 1, 3 there, 60. So you have 60 times 4. So it's going to be 240. So this is not going to change. 240 here, we said this one. Okay? So it's going to be 240 minus that, which is going to be 60 as well. So we are again finding that is sine 60. We are again finding sine 60, which is going to be, so go ahead and find that. Now if you look at part H and I, they are basically the same. We are using the same principle. So go ahead, find part H and part I, then send the answers in the comment section. I'll be able to check them. Okay, so that is it for this question, which is asking us to find the exact value. So the most important thing is to know the special angles. Okay, to know the special angles. Another thing is to know how to find the reference angle. That is it. And then you should also be able to know whether that trig you are finding, it is positive in the first quadrant or negative in the second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Then you're home and dry. So there's no two way about it. That is it about this question. So we can clearly see that what we have is sec, cot, cosec. Yeah, of course we have two things, but the most important thing that we have to take note here is to understand what sec is and to understand what cosec is. Okay, so there we go. We should also take note that whenever we are talking about sec is basically, if we say sec theta, is basically the same as 1 over cos theta. Whenever we're talking about cosec theta, this is basically 1 over sine theta. Then when we're talking about cot theta, is actually 1 over tan theta. After knowing this, it's going to be easy now for us to find this. Okay. Okay, so if we look at the first question, which is saying we should find sec 210. So the first thing is we have to find the reference angle. Okay, so what is the reference angle? The reference angle, like I said earlier, it is basically the angle between the x-axis and the point of interest. 210 can be found in the third quadrant, so it is here. So from there all the way to that point, that is 210. To find the reference angle, which is this theta, is going to be 210 minus 180. Okay, 210 minus 180, that is going to give me 30. So the reference angle is 30. Now what we are trying to find is sec 30 degrees, which is basically the same as 1 over cos 30 degrees. Now we should also know to say we have all student take chamber. Now we can use coffee. In the first quadrant, all trig ratios are positive. In the second quadrant, only sine is positive, the rest are negative. In the third quadrant, only tan is positive, the rest are negative. In the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive, the rest are negative. So the most important thing is to know the trig ratios. So the trig ratios, I have come up with this the table, which is going to help you to remember the trig ratios. So we are trying to find what cos 30 is. Okay, what is cos 30? So cos 30 is root 3 over 2. Okay, is root 3 over 2. So then I'll come here and say this is root 3 over 2. But let us look at this. This angle 210 is in the third quadrant. Is cos negative or positive in the third quadrant? It is negative, so I need to include the negative. When I find this, remember I have found 1 over, so here on top there is what? There is 1. So in short, this is just cos 30. So cos 30 is root of 3. Now the negative root of 3 over 2. So we are actually finding now, so meaning that sec 210 is going to be, remember on top there is 1 divided by negative root of 3 over 2. This is basically the same as 1 times 2 over root of 3, but don't forget the negative. So the answer becomes negative 2 over root 3. This is the answer. I hope you have followed that one. So negative root 2 over 3, that's the answer. Let us go ahead and look at question B. So question B is saying cot. Remember cot is 1 over tan. So then we are trying to find what? We are trying to find cot 225, which is going to be the same as 1 divided by tan 225. But let's first go ahead and find the reference angle. 225 is in the third quadrant. Okay, so 225 is in the third quadrant. So from this point all the way to that point, that is 225. To find the reference angle, which is this one, we have to say 225 minus 180, because we know that from this point all the way to this line is 180. So we just want this part, which is the reference angle. Okay, so that gives me 45. So that is 45. Now the reference angle is 45. Now we are trying to find what tan 45 is. Let's first find tan 45. Okay, using the special angles, tan 45 is basically 1. So then I'll say 1, but it is in the third quadrant. Is tan positive or negative in the third quadrant? all students take it is positive, so it is 1. So then this is the same as 1 divided by 1, which is just positive 1. So positive 1 is the answer for question B. I hope you guys are following up. Now let us go ahead and look at question C. So if I do question C, I believe it will be easy for you to do the rest of the questions. But let's see. Question C is cosec. So we are finding cosec 315, which is the same as 1 over sine 315. But let us look at the reference angle. From this point all the way to that point is 315. So we have to say 360 minus, for us to find this reference angle, is 360 minus 315. Okay, so 360 minus 315 is actually 45. So now let us find what sine 45 is. So all students take chamber. So sine 45, sine 45, it is root 2 over 2. So this is root 2 over 2. But let us look at this. Is sine positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? It is negative, so I have to include the negative, don't forget. Now what I'm actually finding is I want now to find this. I'm now finding cosec 315 is going to be 1 over negative root of 2 over 2. This is the same as 1 divided by negative root of 2 over 2, which is 1 times 2 over root 2, but there's a negative, so the answer is negative 2 over root 2. That's the answer for this. Okay, so it is not something that is complicated, no, but if you follow the simple steps, it's going to be easy for us to do that. Okay, so when you reach at this point, if at all you want, you can rationalize the denominator, but you can leave it there. But if you want, you can rationalize the denominator. Root 2, you can do times root 2 there. Okay, even here root 2. So then you end up having negative 2 root 2 divided by root 2 times 2 is 2. So these will cancel and you end up having negative root 2. You can end here or you can end there. It's basically the same thing. Okay, so let us go to part D. So I will do part D, but you do part E and F. Then you are going to send me the answers in the comment section. So sec is 1 over cos, but I think we have done this, we have done that for sec, cosec and cot, so it's going to be easy for you to do this. Okay, 105 is in the first quadrant or second quadrant, so you say 180 minus 105. Not so. Yes, so you say 180 minus 105, which is going to give you 75. So okay, let me solve. I think for this one it's going to give you a special angle, and that is going to be easy for you, I know that. Okay, I know that is going to be easy for you. Yeah, it's going to be easy for you. So I think the best way what we can do is for 300 is going to be easy because the special angle, let me leave something which is going to be easy for you. 300 is going to give us what? Let's see. 300 is going to be in the fourth quadrant. It's going to be 60. So for this one you can solve because the special angle is 60. Cool. 210, 240. Yes, the special angle is going to be there. So you do 240 minus 180, that is should be 60. Now let us look at isn't it 30? minus this. So 14, okay, 60 degrees. So that is okay. Now let us look at 105. So 105 is the same as, now we have cot 105 is going to be equal to 1 over cot is, we go with tan. So we have tan 105. Now one thing I want you to understand here is 105 is in the what? In which quadrant? In the second quadrant. So to find the reference angle, this angle is going to be 180 minus 105, which is 75. 75 is not the special angle. What are we going to do? We are going to find two numbers which when we add, they should give us 75. So I believe that is going to be, now in the brackets, it's going to be tan 35, tan 45, which is the special angle, plus plus what? Plus 30. Yes. So I have to find this. Now, finding this is going to require us to use now the plus or minus, the sum. Okay. So if at all I have tan, maybe alpha plus beta, this is given by tan alpha plus tan beta divided by 1 minus tan alpha times tan beta. So now here we are going to replace these things. We are going to replace here 45, here we are going to replace 30, here we are going to replace 45, here we are going to replace 30. So we are now actually finding what tan 45 is. Okay, so we go back. Tan 45 is 1. So we have 1 plus what of tan 30? So tan 30 is 1 over root 3. So it's 1 over root 3. I divide it by 1 minus, what else do we have? We also have tan 45. We have already said is 1 times 1 over what? 1 over root 3, like that. So then we are going to have 1 plus 1 over root 3. Here we have 1 minus 1 over root 3. So we have this. So let's first simplify what is on top. This is basically, I can put that one to be the root of 3 over root of 3 plus 1 over root of 3. I have not changed anything on top. I just want to simplify it because root of 3 divided by root of 3 is 1. So that the denominator should be the same, we add the numerators. So that gives me root 3 plus 1 divided by root 3. So we also have divided, let's not forget that the down part is now 1 minus, so that is the same as root 3 divided by root 3 minus 1 over root 3. So we have root 3 minus root 3, root 3 minus root 3, or root 3 minus 1, then you divide that by, this is going to give me root what? It's going to give me root 3, like that. So we now have this down here, root 3. So what we can actually do is root 3 plus 1 divided by root 3 times root 3 divided by root 3 minus 1. These will cancel. Now what we are going to have is root 3 plus 1 divided by root 3 minus 1. So what we have there, if I want, I can rationalize the denominator because there is the square root there. Not so. I think that would be even better. So let us now rationalize the denominator. We get rid of the square root down. So that is going to give me this. So it will be times root 3, then this plus 1, root 3 plus 1. So if we multiply, we end up having 3. Okay. So yes, we end up having, but in most cases we change the sign where there is sad, not so. So I'll put this one will be the same. It's basically the same thing. I've not changed anything. I've just changed the sign. So this time that one I'll end up having negative 3. Okay. Then what do we do? This time that one I'll end up having negative this. This one I'll end up having negative 1. Okay. So if you multiply the part having negative, so okay, this time this one I'll end up having negative 3. Then this times that one, negative root of 3 times negative 1 is negative root of 3. Negative 1 times negative that, it will give me this. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1. So then this on top, I will end up having negative 4 plus or minus root 2 divided by this, and that will cancel, so I'll end up having negative 2, like that. Not so. Yeah, I'll end up having negative 2. So we only had, okay, I think we have not made any mistake here. This is just okay. Where is this? So this should be root of 3. Yes. So let's see. Let us see what we're going to have. So we have 2 here, and on top here is everything okay. So what we did on top here, we multiplied this by this, it gave me this part, then this and that, it gave me this. What of, oh, so there's a simple mistake here. I forgot to say negative 1 times root 3, so here is supposed to be negative root 3. Then again, negative 1, it has to be like that. So here, these are going to be added, so it will end up having 2, like that. Yeah, we end up having 2. So 2, negative and negative will cancel, and I'll end up having this divided by 2. So 2 there, it will be 2 into 2, I'll end up having this. So normal, this is what we have. But we should take note that this 105, it is in the first quadrant. Sorry, it is in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, tan is negative. So then I can clearly see that my answer will be like this. So the reason why I had to do this is because I knew to say it's going to be a bit tough for you. So that is going to give me negative 2 plus root 3, like that. Now we are finding this is for tan, sorry, tan 105, but we are finding cot. So then this should be easy for us. So cot 105 is going to be, on top there's 1, then we divide it by this, and that becomes my answer. There's no two way about it. So go ahead and look at question D. Question D I've already solved, I think, but you can solve question D and E. Yeah, same method. Nothing is going to be complicated for you. Sure.